We were talking about the possible causes of the universe, and he was arguing about there cannot be many gods.
There cannot be none. Okay.
That was, yeah, his claim.
Yeah. Like I went to study and investigate um, a lot that I didn't know about the universe. I took like lessons and a lot. Yeah, but it really tells you once you um, go and study and like see these nitty-gritty intrinsic details, you really know that like how much out there you don't really know. Like the question of existence of God aside, about the universe itself, about the science, that's just so amazing. Like once you know that there's a lot of interesting stuff that you don't know, once you find that out, that like that sense of wonder, I really felt that.
Yeah, but it's a little bit off the topic, right? So, universe is too complex. There are a lot of things that we don't know. Okay, there are a lot of
Mhm.
details. Okay, but in the end, so on. So are you still a believer?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And
like, do you have any chance to study the God the same way that you studied this universe? Can you do that?
I study the God. Yeah, I do, and I have done, and it even increased the faith rather diminishing it.
So, how can you observe and test God? Because you can do all those things with this universe. That's how you learn about this universe, by observing, by measuring, by testing, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
can you do the same with your God?
yeah. I understood like how my brain works actually, because you do intentionally try to use the empirical method, the Bayesian paradigm, like the Bayesian rule, which is that update your belief in response to the new incoming information. Uh, so I did that. Like I disciplined myself even more in in the religious experiences and rituals, which actually gives me those religious experiences, and that's what I see as a like a hallmark of someone who really wants to know and experience and test the existence of God. The
Like,
prayer, like the ritual.
I was trying to make a point. Again, we are diverted a little bit. So, my question was that I was trying to ask. So, I was not
Yeah, what?
expecting the answer that yes, I studied the God also. But so, if you studied God, which one is more beautiful, more complex, more amazing, God or this universe?
Yeah, like you really like beauty is actually beguiling. There's a German physicist who wrote a book,
Don't
Lost
focus
in
on
Math.
that word, it's subjective. But let's say, which one is more amazing
But
for
your
you?
question, your question is centered around those phrases.
Not
I have to
exactly
address
about
that.
beauty. Like, it was just, like, it was
Yeah,
even not a side, thing that I
this is
was trying
also
to make.
subjective.
Yeah, but
This is also subjective. If I told you like which one of them is like more beautiful
okay,
or more amazing.
the beauty, okay, and amazing, okay. Like you said, there are a lot of things that we don't know, and like you are amazed by this universe. That's like the expression that I got from you. So are you amazed by this universe or not?
The God, yeah.
Oh no, the universe.
Because yeah, sure, I am.
So which one is more amazing for you, God or this universe?
Uh, like I can't just like sketch out this comparison because I don't see the universe and God as two distinct things.
So
I see
you
them
believe
as a whole and part of.
you believe God is part of this universe?
This
Not
universe is part of that bigger reality. Okay, so I'm amazed and I'm like stupefied by this like gorgeous and gargantuan design. That's what gives me the sense of wonder and sense of awe, because I see it, I experience it, and it evokes those feelings within me. But when it comes to God, it's like I don't see it with my eyes directly. But anyways, the experience that I have of the God um, tells me that like what like I really long for is not the wonder and awe of this universe, though it makes me feel good, okay, momentarily. But what I really long for is that God who actually created all this. I hope you get the point, you know?
nope.
No? Or
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
I
know
have to
if you remember from
rephrase.
our previous topics conversations. If someone talks too long, I just lose the line of tell speech and just don't
Yeah.
understand. So either I don't know how to ask questions, or you
No, no,
somehow
no.
deliberately dodging all those questions, or I'm just stupid and I don't understand what you're saying. So I don't
Yeah,
know. Which
that's the possibility, the last one. Maybe the way I expressed that, maybe there was more basic and simple way to do that. But the point is that more fundamentally, that the purpose that I really have is to be content with the God. Okay, not to be content with the universe and what it has to offer.
I'm sorry,
But the
I'm
experience,
not here to talk about purposes of people.
purpose of people,
Yeah.
yeah, people have different purposes.
Yeah, but you just said like this is the purpose, and again, the topic isn't about purposes. So I'm trying to understand about God that you believe in. Like, I want to understand the God you believe in. Like,
So
as I remember, you were a Muslim, but you have different kind of opinions, probably like that. Because when I asked you, you said they're not separate, but according to Islamic belief, God created this universe out of nothing. He said be, and then, he created this, everything. So
yeah,
it
sure.
sounds like they're separate, they're not together, and etc. Sure, you don't have to share the same beliefs with other Muslims.
You have to get into this ontological debate. Uh, if you assume that these are separate, then you have to prove your point. From like, what do you mean like by being separate? And I'm not saying like the universe is God or like that
It sounds like that.
panpsychistic. No, 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 it isn't, because I haven't gone into the details of this belief actually. But it, yeah, it does sound like that. You're right, but it's different actually. Let me give you that like um, that what you say, that prerequisite disclaimer. Uh, but it's more like this universe is the reflection of the attributes of the God. God is a creator. He creates. He created the universe.
Okay, if like there is a being who created something, like it sounds to me like you as a being, you create a house. And to me, it sounds like that. So you're separate from what you have created. That doesn't mean you cannot enter like as we do. We create things and we can go inside those things, right? So you believe in such a God, or still, even if that's the case, though, they're separate. But when you say reflection and created again, it sounds they're separated right now. Which one?
There's a maxim you might have heard. There's a maxim called "There is nothing new under the sun." Even something that we create reflects what we have created and what our intentions and our aspirations at the time of creating that device or gadget or that thing. Like it really tells that. So that like that information intrinsic into that thing that tells you about who have created it, um, you actually kind of infer from that information who the creator is and what might be his or her thoughts or intentions
These are
when he
really
created this. Like,
unnecessary topics, like because we can easily agree on what you said. Okay, last sentences. I agree with you. Okay, so you can look at the design and you can like assume things about the designer. That's okay. But I can look at you and I can assume the causes of you also, right? I can
the
inference
cause
that
for?
of you. So you have causes too, right? So you can cause things,
Hmm.
but you also have causes, right? So when it comes
And
to
that being thought,
a creator of this universe, we can go like that, right? I can also say, oh, okay, if there is such a being who created this universe, and you think that this universe is the reflection of that creator, by analyzing like the properties of that creator, we can also assume the creator of that creator. But I don't think that that's a belief that you can
that's
hold.
a that's like a typical regressive argument. Like who created the creator, who created that
Exactly.
creator, and like
So what's your answer for
yeah,
that?
yeah. So something has to have no beginning, all right?
Okay.
And
Let's
that's what
say
I
that
think
that
God,
something is the universe, not a creator of this universe.
yeah. So something that we really cannot comprehend. God is something that we cannot comprehend actually. But there has to be something which is without the beginning, and it is God.
Okay, let's say that like we have another candidate, which is the universe. Okay, just because there is a big bang, that doesn't mean the universe itself started existing. It just started expanding, and we don't know if it uh, expanded before or shrank or like anything. We don't know that, so we don't get to assume that the universe came out of nowhere and started existing with the Big Mac. We cannot make this assumption. We cannot prove it. At least we are not able to prove it right now. So, and still, that makes this universe as the candidate that you're looking for, which is there is something, and that something doesn't have any cause. We can assume that, and we can start from here. And like to me, believers are the ones who start this regress problem. They're regressing it. I'm not. I can easily say, okay, let's stop here. Let's don't go
No, no, I'm
anywhere.
not. Yeah, it's not you, but the argument, like intrinsically called the regressive argument, like what's before that, and what's before the before, and like
Yeah,
what's before that.
but I didn't create that. Like you believers are creating that.
I know, you're not. Yeah, yeah. But you're using it, right?
Sure, I use it like to show you that like you are the one who is creating this thing because you look for an explanation. But when it comes
But
to
that's the
me,
observed
when I ask the
phenomenon.
same questions, when I like do the same reasoning, you say no, 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 don't do that because it will cause a regression. But you already did it. You started it.
No, no, no. I don't think that somebody has come up with that abstract that like that's not even abstract argument. It's like commonly observed everyday phenomenon. We see things being created by some other things, and they created by some other things.
Okay.
Like this pattern that we see in the nature, like we use that pattern to reason. Like,
Okay.
okay, so what's before that? And what's before that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but there has to be a point of no beginning somewhere,
Okay. Like the existence
and
of
that's
the
before God.
singularity, let's say. But that's the problem. Again, like I'm not the one who is causing this problem. You guys causing the problem, and I'm asking like, then what's the cause of the creator? Then you just remember this problem, but again, you guys are the ones who are creating this problem by going one step further from this universe.
No, but we're actually stopping at some point. We're not
Okay,
like
let's
the
stop.
regressive argument is that goes to infinity, like, but we're stopping. It's
No,
not
you're not.
regressive then.
No, no, you're not stopping. You are starting this problem by saying that, wait, I can't explain this universe, there must be a creator. So you see, that's how you cause this problem.
It's not
Go.
really about explaining the universe. It's about like belief in what we have observed being created and who created it, because this sense comes from the natural world actually, and we extrapolate that reason and we project it to the universe and say something must have created this universe, and that what we say God, and we're stopping there.
But the problem is the way that you extrapolate whatever you are trying to do. Like, I don't see any good logic there. What do you do exactly? What are
Yeah,
you doing? Like, you're
that
observing
might
this
be subjective.
universe and you're just saying, oh, I cannot explain it. Like, the way it is, there must be an explanation. So you're appealing to ignorance and you are starting this thing. This is how I see. So, what do you do? And
Yeah,
like,
I remember a really interesting phrase from one of my favorite scientists, Sean Carroll. He said, like, one man's absurdity is another man's answers to life's important questions. So if
and
you see it as having no logic, I see it having the logic and something that is explicable, not inexplicable.
okay,
And I have
I have
explained.
another suggestion then. Let's agree, okay? As I said, I don't have a problem like when it comes to believing something with no cause. I definitely don't have any problem, okay? Then let's change it, okay? Let's say that the creator of this universe has a creator, and that creator also has a creator, and let's stop here. Is there any problem with that belief? So, as you suggested, there must be a starting point, and as you suggested, uh,
Okay.
I
So this is,
accept that. Yeah,
yeah.
this is the starting point.
Yeah, so this is like a narrow and a limited reasoning. If we do that, I'd say that's a narrow and limited reasoning because when we have believed in a creator who created this universe, what other beliefs that we have about him? Or has he ever communicated? Has he ever sent his message? Because when we say there is something, some conscious entity who created this universe, must have also spoken or communicated with us. So we have those other beliefs about this entity. And I believe that this entity sent the message. And this entity told us that I have not been created, I existed forever.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
now
if you want,
you're causing a circular reasoning by just appealing to a book, and you say, wait, like I have these beliefs, and my beliefs are based on other beliefs that I have. So this is not about logic. You just, base your beliefs on other beliefs. That's what you're doing. Like the same way I'm doing, for example, I believe that I am in a universe and I'm not alone. I believe in that, and I just make other beliefs on those things. For example, I believe that Edward is not AI, it's not imaginary. I believe that he's real. So, other things. So, these are beliefs, and I base those beliefs on my other beliefs. And what you're doing with God is the same. You believe in other things, they can be wrong, and mine is also like that. But this is not about logic, right?
but they can also not be, like you said that. Let's say the creator has a creator and then it has a creator, and
And then
let's
stop.
stop there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's also an assumption of belief. All right.
Yeah.
So you see a logic there, but you don't see a logic when I say that there is a creator and we agree, let's assume, on that. And then this creator, before going back, like who created this creator, we come to this information where we say this creator has sent us the message or has communicated his characteristics or his nature with us. And it has said that I have not been created. So like
Yeah.
once that logical reasoning goes to this creator, like there is a creator and it stops there and you conclude the existence of it, then you have to believe the message it sends. So it's logical actually.
I don't think it's logical because you find a message and you believe that the message is true, and then you start reasoning, wait, I believe the message is true, therefore, this universe must have an explanation, but only one explanation, and that explanation cannot have other explanations. And all that conclusion is based on one belief, which is there is a message and the message is true.
So from some information, you have to conclude that there is a creator. So you are not using a information or a message sent by this God, but you're using a different style of reasoning and processing of information, let's say a different style of reasoning about this universe, and then saying
Nope.
that it might have a creator.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you're using very simple logic that you were advising, which is if we question and seek for other explanations, that will cause an infinite regress, and that's a problem. I don't know if it's a problem or not, even, but I say, okay, my friend, I don't have a problem with what you're telling me. Let's agree. Then I look at what you're doing, you're cheating because you don't follow what you're suggesting me, which is you're not stopping. You're just saying, oh, wait. Let's ask what is the explanation of this universe. By the way, I have some information. I believe the information is true. The book is true. Therefore, it must stop in the first step and we cannot go back. But that's literally cheating.
Now, are we gonna question? Okay, are we gonna question the nature of this creator then, when this creator has told us, in like, you know, once we have concluded something, then the logic branches out, or
Yeah,
beliefs, or
That's the problem
Information
that
branches.
that we don't agree, because when you conclude things, you conclude those things through the belief or faith, whatever, and you can be wrong even in the first step, and whatever you do later on doesn't make any sense, because if the first premise, which is the message is true, is false, then whatever the conclusion you have doesn't make any sense for us.
It's actually you who brought us to that argument. Like you
Which
said,
is
let's say there's a creator. Okay. Let's say there's no problem in that. Okay.
okay.
Let's say there is a creator. Let's conclude there is a creator. And then like the logic and belief then branches out from that
Nope.
conclusion. What else do
Let's
we have?
entertain the like idea that a God exists, a creator exists. So let's agree that like some properties of this God, which is intelligent, powerful, like the best designer. Okay, that doesn't mean he wants to communicate with us. That even doesn't mean he intentionally created us. There are many things here.
Yeah, there's lots of things. Uh, but like you said, that do we really have to question about the properties and characteristics of this creator? Why don't we save our energy? Why don't we save our effort? And let's ask this creator or see its message where it describes itself,
The
right?
problem is when you
Because
say its message, you don't know if there is a creator, and you don't know if there is a message from that creator. So when you say let's analyze its message, that doesn't mean you're analyzing its message. Maybe
but
all
this
those messages
this
are
comes
man made.
after. Yeah, but isn't this a circular reasoning that we're coming back to, like the that like typical argument when, okay, when we're following some path and we have come to conclude or believe that there is a creator from some information or from some standpoint, then we further like expand the reasoning, then to know like who this creator it is, what else we can know about this creator, and where we can get this information from. So this creator sends us information or it doesn't. Like we ask those
Um,
questions
okay,
and then
let's
we
ask the
find.
question. But as I said, even if you conclude that there must be a creator, like if you didn't like start with the circular reasoning, which is there is a book, you believe the book is true, then yeah, that means like you automatically believe a God exists. So if that's not the case, so if you just believe a God exists for other reasons, I don't know what reasons, that doesn't mean that God sent a message to us.
Yeah, so no one is actually encouraged to believe in a book blindly. Like I
Okay.
said, that you have to observe and you have to use the methods of observation and collection of information to reach some conclusion, to reach some point that makes sense about this creator.
Yeah, I
So it's
understand that
like
part.
not limited.
I understand that
Yeah.
part, but probably we also argued about like the Quran or other evidence that you have, and we don't agree. Like, at least that evidence is sufficient for you to conclude that, yeah, there is a God, but the same amount of evidence is not enough for me to be convinced about, those claims. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's
Lots
subjective
of
in the
people,
end.
lots of people claim that. Yeah, lots of people claim to say that they have a huge like amount of evidence, but it's not convincing. Okay, so like, what could be the problem, or to ask a question whether it is a problem when there is an evidence somebody is not convinced. Like what could be the problem? Is the problem is intrinsic to the evidence or to the person?
I don't see
who
a problem,
might be.
Symphony. I don't have a problem with that. So I see that you have evidence, and I also believe that there is a lot of evidence for the existence of God, and I see that that amount of evidence is compelling for you, not compelling for me. So, and I don't see a problem in that.
Yeah, so then the question is how, what makes us to be compelled for something? Okay, because we have to solve the problem here. So when the evidence is there, something is there, then you have this problem that I am compelled and you're not compelled. So then we have to stick to this point. We have to pin ourselves down here that
Nope.
the problem might be
I don't think that
in,
there's a problem. It's like if there's
when I say
some
problem, hmm, yeah, go
like
ahead.
there's no such a rule that which is the same amount of evidence must compel everyone in the same level. There's no such a rule. Okay? As I said,
Yeah,
whatever
that's
the
true.
evidence out there is sufficient for you to believe that that's the case. It's not sufficient for me to believe that's the case. So, and as I said, I don't see a problem here. But if you say that there is a problem, I want to understand why it's a problem.
Yeah, the time is also important here. The sometimes there is sufficient evidence, but it does not sink in well with a person for a time being. But I've seen many people who thought in the past that, hey, there is lots of evidence. Yeah, like this looks valid, but you know what? I'm not convinced. But as soon as like that evidence really sinks in, they start to having this inspiration. Oh, well, yeah, I'm a little convinced now. So like time is also important, and then all other things that are related to
Sure, I
the
agree.
core problem.
I agree. Like if like I'm not convinced by X amount of evidence, in the future maybe the same amount of evidence can convince me, or maybe less amount of evidence will convince me. So yeah, time
Yeah.
can change our opinions about like or our perspectives, the way that we look at things. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and what's related with this problem, like it's not a problem. It's like a whole paradigm. So what's really going on here is experience. Like when time is passing by, like your experience is getting more richer and more synthesized. So it's like a synthesis of an experience that might give you like a different, like that evoke a different perception within you to see that evidence from a different point of view, and then you're convinced with it.
Yeah, but in the end of the day, even if you're convinced that something is the case, that doesn't mean it's the case. Maybe it's the case, maybe not.
Yeah, that's also
So
true. Like we're convinced, like there are people, like literally people convinced that they're Jesus. Three people went to a psychiatrist, and all three of them were convinced that they're second coming of Jesus, but they were not. Okay, so that also could be the case, but take a hybrid approach, right? Like those people who thought that they were Jesus, the second coming of Jesus, was merely because they went into these simulations too much. Like they immersed into these simulations, into these stories and fictions, imagination so much so that their brain is now cannot distinguish between the reality and between their imagined selves and imagined stories. So, like, this really happens. Uh, that your brain really cannot distinguish between what you imagine and what you experience. Sometimes what you imagine seems like real, but it's actually not. Okay. sometimes. So that happens, yeah, it's true. But uh, then then how to solve this problem? Like then what's the solution? Is to be more to take more hybrid approach, which is that yes, it is important that your inner selves and inner simulations are projecting on what you see in the world out there, and then what you see in the world out there projects on the simulations within yourself. So this is uh, what I have come across lately is the method to really know the truth about something. But still, there can be a lot that you don't know, and it's time that tells you that these are the things that you didn't know, and now you know them.
Yeah, at least like your approach when it comes to, say that maybe like our brain's just creating something and it doesn't exist outside. Yeah, that's a good thing to see. And yeah, in the end, I can just repeat the same thing. Just because we have the imagination, unicorns, right? We think about unicorns, but it's hard to claim that they exist out there.
Yeah, true.
So
So,
maybe,
yeah,
yes, like to be able to have some imagination, maybe we need external data, which is horses exist, right? And then we just combine other things and voila, we create something that doesn't exist outside. So when it comes to God, God is, a creator, right? An intelligent being, right? Merciful, powerful, intelligent. So what we have similar to this, we have humans, right? We have humans out there. We also create things. We're powerful, we're intelligent. So and we combine some other things and we maybe are creating the God in our minds. So or maybe yeah, God exists and we kind of directly or indirectly, reach the same conclusion.
yeah,
I don't know.
it's like a deeply, in the end, it's like a deeply ontological question, still open question. Um, but again, it's up to a person whether he truly intends to know. When I say truly, it means truly intends to know, and he fights with all of his biases, all of those you know erroneous perceptions that might be hindering him to be truly intending for knowing the truth and the existence of God. So that's also really important. Like, first, know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you can't just control those simulations, can't get rid of them, and you know, they might hinder you to know the truth. Let alone God, hinder you know about the truth about this world. Okay, what happens with us during the day, how the society works, how economy works, how politics works, all those things, right? So we have to like get rid of these imagined self, and we have to face the reality. We have to find a way to face the reality, and it's always the hard way. And I have discovered that it's always the hard way to face the reality, because your perceptions and imaginations, yeah, like they're not easy to be changed. Like they can't be changed easily. It's really hard to change them. You think, oh, there might be some eureka moment and your perception might change, but that's not how it works. Like, it's like a whole process, like that branches out, and this process like builds your perception gradually, and these things are important to know. And I encourage like people, like, to be actually more real about the world out there, right? uh, because like, um, what we have um, uh, at our immediate experience is the world, and how we perform and function in it. Okay, if we don't perform and function well, we might become irrelevant and face like the challenges, the like unforeseen challenges. So we can avoid them by getting rid of these imagined cells and simulations by facing the reality the hard way. Hey, Julie, long time no see. Are they sleeping?